I caught myself shutting down because part of me believes that the water is something dangerous. So I was talking to my wife, and we were talking about the pool and getting in the water. We're on holiday. And then I noticed something in myself. I noticed that I was starting to shut down. Part of me really believes that the water is something dangerous, and I'll explain to you in just a minute why. I'll walk you through what happened, what thoughts that went through my mind, what emotions I felt in that moment. I will also walk you through what I could do instead. Let's lock in. All right, so here's what happened. This is more than 10 years ago. A friend of mine drowned in the waters. He drowned in the waters. I believe I was 19 or 20 years old. We were just hanging out with some friends, and it was an accident. He drowned and I lost a friend. So that was really tragic end to what was supposed to be a fun afternoon with friends. Since then, I never really enjoyed the waters ever again. I think I get pretty nervous when I'm around the waters, when I'm around a pool. And I think just the idea of being in the water around a pool makes me kind of nervous. And so this is what I noticed when I was talking to my wife. We were talking about getting in the waters, getting in the pool. And she asked me this question. So I think I get super insecure and I get super nervous. But I think it's present enough to bother me to not want to get into the pool. I don't want to get in the pool because part of me still believes that the pool, the waters, is something dangerous where I could get hurt because I got hurt in the past because of that. Now, what thoughts go through my mind exactly? I don't think I have any thoughts that consciously go through my mind that I'm aware of that triggers anything. But I do believe that the idea of going into the waters, going into the pool is a trigger. And I think that just the fact of talking about it is a trigger for me to start feeling anxious, about getting into the pool and getting into the waters. That's enough for me to trigger something like a negative emotion without having a conscious thought, without having a conscious or a specific thought around it. And then I think this is the first time that I catch myself actually noticing that there is a relationship between what happened to me more than 10 years ago, and what I feel today in relationship to water and the pool still to this day. It's not even something that I still think of regularly on a daily basis today, but I guess my body never forgot the feeling, the fear, and the emotions that went through my body in that moment, even when it's such a long time ago. I think my body remembers that. So I don't think I have a conscious thought that goes through my mind today about the waters specifically. I do have the feeling that I don't want to get near the waters. I don't want to get near the pool I don't want anything to do with it. That's how I feel today. And so anxiety, 70 to 80%. Fear, it's not real fear. It's not up there. I would say fear 10%, maybe 15%. I think I feel about 70 to 80% anxiety when I think about the pool, when I get in the pool, when I'm near the water or something like that. 70, 80%, let's call it 80% anxiety. So these emotions never stop me from actually getting near waters, but it makes me not want to do that. It makes me want to avoid it. It makes me just stay away from the waters altogether. Now let's talk about what I usually do when I am in a situation like that. I will avoid it. If I'm not in the pool in the waters yet, I will not get myself involved in conversations, activities about getting into the waters and stuff like that. I would typically just try to avoid it. If I can talk myself out of getting into a pool or the waters, I will. I will just try to get myself out of that conversation as quick as possible. I am realizing today that I think this has something to do with what happened to me plus 10 years ago. I think there's a relationship there. I think my body, my whole being, my whole existence is still reacting to what happened. And I still feel like water is something that I should get out of, something that's dangerous, something that can kill you, something that is more powerful than you. I think that I'm realizing that today. And so Am I falling into some thinking traps? I think I'm definitely falling into some thinking traps, meaning my mind is not thinking clearly. The waters could be dangerous, of course, obviously, for obvious reasons. But I think my mind and my body is not reacting to it in a realistic way, not in a justified way anymore. I think because it hurt me in the past, it hurt my friend in the past, I think because it was a hurtful experience, my body is just simply telling me, don't ever get near anything like that again. Just avoid it. Just avoid it altogether. I think that's the way that I'm reacting to it today. I think that there's some truth in there. So I think these are definitely thinking traps today that I'm probably catastrophizing. I think I'm painting a more generalized, dark picture of the waters and the pool. And I think that is what's preventing me from enjoying anything related to the waters, anything related to the pool. And my mind and my body is wrestling with me and telling me, don't do it, get out of it, because remember what happened last time. You got hurt last time. I think that's what's happening to me. Now, what could I do instead? What could I do instead of continuing to avoid the pool and the waters? Because I've got a family, I've got friends, and there's always going to be something or someone that brings up the pool, the waters, the sea, the ocean, something. I don't want to continue to live like I am still in fear and anxious. I don't want to continue to live that way. Now that I'm realizing that it's something that's happening to me in an unconscious way, I want to bring this to the conscious. I want to take conscious steps. I want to learn to think differently and act differently. I'll start by at least stopping to say that I don't want to get into the water. I don't want to be involved with water or the pool or anything like that. I'm going to stop saying that because I think part of me believes that, but not all of me believes that. But I think part of me also wants to enjoy the waters and enjoy the pool, especially now that I have kids, to be able to play with them in the waters. So I'll stop saying, I don't want to do it, stop saying that, and just embrace the idea and the possibility of getting into the water and stop resisting it as much as I do right now. And by the way, I'm not saying that I don't ever get into the water or the pool. That does happen. You know, I do get to play with my kids in the pool. I just don't do it that often. And I think playing with the kids in the water in the pool, that's the only time I get in the pool. So I'll start by stopping to resist the idea of getting into the water and the pool. I think I'll start there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to start doing today. I will stop resisting. I will stop avoiding even just the conversation and the thought of getting in the pool. I'll just start by allowing it to be, allowing it to get near me. I am someone that is noticing that my relationship to the waters in the pool was a negative one. It was an overwhelmingly negative one. And I understand that now. I notice it, I know it, but I want to do something about it. I want to do something different about it. I want to take a different step, different turn. And I want to learn to enjoy the waters and the pool and stop running away from it. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think it will be something that just changes overnight, but it's something that I do want to do something about. It's something that I do want to embrace, something that I want to change, something I want to get better at. I am deciding that I'm going to learn to like the waters, enjoy the waters, like I guess most people do. I'm going to continue to notice when I shut down, because this is what I'm working on today. And I noticed that I shut down when I talk about the waters, when I talk about the pool, when the idea just crosses my mind, I shut down already. And that's what I'm working on today. Notice it early before I actually completely shut down. So I'm going to continue to work on myself. I'm going to continue to face my hardest inner battles and share the exact tools that help me win. Join the club. My name is Chris Kasonga. Keep living an empowered life.